Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar, Engage Customers with Data-Driven Personalization and Targeted Messaging. My name is Lisa Hazarjian. I'm a Director of Marketing Programs at Docsum and your host for this webinar. I'm joined today by Bevan Grice, Director of Customer Service for Fayetteville Public Works Commission, as well as Aaron Romo, Vice President of our Utilities Vertical here at Docsum. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that all attendees will be in listen-only mode. So if you have questions, please submit them via the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen, and if it permits, our speakers will be happy to answer them. You will also receive an email with a link to the recording of the webinar, and we encourage you to share it with your colleagues who couldn't attend. All of that covered, I'm going to pass it over to Erin, and she'll get us started.
Great, thanks, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Hopefully you're excited to hear about customer engagement and how you can use data-driven targeted messaging to kind of communicate what it is that you need for your customers. You really want to build that customer engagement. So today, we'll just go over a little bit of the agenda. We'll introduce you to who Docsum is. And then I'll introduce you to Bevan from Fayetteville, and he's going to tell a great story about how they really listened to their customers, talked internally, and really decided on a strategy for customer engagement from a holistic standpoint. And we're going to talk to you a little bit today about some of the solutions that they decided to implement and how Docsum helped them do that. Oh, do we have a? All right. So to introduce you to Docsum, we are a premier customer communications management partner for utilities. And while a lot of you may not recognize the Docsum name, you might recognize some of the acquisitions that Docsum has recently done. In September of 2019, Docsum acquired Utilitech, which is a utilities only solution provider. And then they acquired Strata, which is a digital delivery service, in September of 2020. Pinnacle, which some of you may recognize as well, in October of 2020. Laser Print Plus, which gave us some Southeast locations and some additional utility partners, in December of 2020. And then just most recently, we acquired Level 1 this month. So again, Docsum is a premier customer communications partner. We have purpose-built solutions for utilities. For our print and mail services with our 8 state-of-the-art print facilities across the United States, we insert about over 4 million envelopes, and about 2.5 billion pages that we print in those locations. As you can see from our digital delivery, we are big and we can handle all of your digital delivery needs as well. And we are producing and delivering just almost as many digital documents as we are printed documents. So 550 million business messages we're sending out, and 250 million of those are regulated documents. So Docsum really is focused on the security, the regulatory, the certifications, and the security that you need to keep your data secure. Go ahead. All right, so we wanted to just give you a little bit of an example of some of the utilities that we partner with. We are serving over 180 utilities in the United States currently. And here's just an example of some of the partners that we have. All right, so today, Fayetteville's really going to be talking to you about the solutions that they implemented to really help drive their customer engagement. But they did it on the CCM platform that Docsum offers. And we call that the Docsum Utilitech CCM. So these are just an example of some of the tools that we have available from a print and mail standpoint. We handle the full gamut from data management through document composition. We can offer you consultative services for bill design, as well as handling all the digital delivery for that. For the tools, we provide a lot of tools that will help you with cost reductions, message management, return mail management, and just account management. We also have a payments and e-billing platform, and the beauty is that we have it all in one controllable platform. So if you have all the services with us, you will have one entry point into our system to manage all of the data and the delivery points that we offer for you. Okay. And lastly, before we get into Fayetteville's story, it's really about engagement. And there are a lot of initiatives that are out there for engagement. Your customers are growing at a rapid pace for wanting and demanding engagement with you and their utilities. And how they want to interact really differs based off of what kind of experience they're going through in that certain month in their billing scenarios, what's happening at their home. Right now with the pandemic, we've all had a lot of change that are happening, and your customers have had a lot of change as well. So it's really important to reach out and really push for those pieces of communication. You want to draw in your customer. You want to reduce those days of sales open for your invoices. And how do you do that? You engage your customers so that they're reading the bill, they're interacting with them, and they're following the behavior patterns that you really want them to do. And really that comes from analyzing this 62% of people want to use the analytics to understand customer behavior and preferences. And that's really what I think what this presentation is going to focus on for the most part, is how we used personalized marketing and the analytics to understand what the customers needed and how they needed to be communicated so they can continue their journey through with the utility. So we hope that you will enjoy Fayetteville's story, and I am going to turn it over to Bevan Grice now so he can tell you how they identified what they needed to do and what solutions they put in place.
Hey, thank you, Erin. I'm going to give you the Southern view, the Southern dialogue. I'm Bevan Grice, and I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, not Arkansas, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And let me tell you a little bit about Fayetteville and our service area first. There are 205,000 citizens in Fayetteville. We're the 6th largest city in North Carolina. We're the home of Fort Bragg, the 82nd Airborne, which is the largest base in America. The 4th most diverse community in the United States. And I think a lot of that is due to Fort Bragg. We average mailing and emailing about 135,000 bills and notices a month. Our customers, we have electric, water, and sewer, 83,000 electric, 96,000 water, and 88,000 sewer. And we bill all variable combinations of that. We have electric only, water only, sewer only, and then all of the above scenarios there. So let me give you a story as to why we started this process. Back in 2019 or 2018, we decided to implement time of use rates, and we thought that would be a good time to look at the bill, because we wanted to know, how we wanted to add the extra lines to the bill, the extra billing detail. But to go back even before that, in 2014, we PwC went live with Oracle CC&B, and I don't know if many of you probably have been through a conversion like that, but it was a huge project, and we felt like the project was too big and too complex in 2014 to redesign the bill or look at the bill at all. So we delayed that. So really one of the catalysts for us looking at the bill print situation was adding the time of use rate for our customers. Now, the complexity here for us is we have been with the same bill print vendor for 20 plus years. So, they were kind of like family to us anyway. But so we decided to do an RFP. So if you'll switch it over. So the next slide is our timeline. So in 2018, we developed an RFP, and we sent that out to published that in September of 18. We had nine vendors that responded. We created a decisions matrix for that RFP. And after we completed that, we narrowed our list down to 2 utilities. One was Utilitech and the other one was our vendor that we'd had for 20 plus years. So, so we had Utilitech and the other vendor to give us another demonstration. And so when we sent the RFP out, we actually did it just for a new bill print. But after talking with Utilitech, we decided we wanted to do a bill redesign. And because we watched what they were doing, we listened to them, and we felt like this was the time that we could really take advantage of their skills and their knowledge. So that's what we did. And their project team and their tools, they were awesome, and they really helped us get through this. But one of the pressing items that we had as we started this in September, we signed a contract with Utilitech or Docsum Utilitech in November. We were going live with time of use rates in April. So we had to have this project finished in 5 to 6 months, and we did. And we did that, based on the awesome team at Utilitech, the awesome team at PwC. So we just had we had a good synergy going there. So let me tell you how we did this. So what we did is we formed a team at Fayetteville PwC with a representative from all areas that were impacted, that touched our customers, like customer billing. We had our IT department, information systems department, our marketing folks, our customer service folks, of course, our communications team, and we have another division called programs division, customer programs. So we formed this team. So each team could share their perspective, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a wonderful team to be a part of. Everybody was enthusiastic. They were excited about the project. It was something that you could see where we were and where we were going. So it was really one of the more rewarding projects that I've ever been associated with. And you all know that your bill is your face to the customer. So this was a very important project for us to complete, and we had to do it on time. So a little pressure there. So the next, let me tell you how we did it. We used several focus groups. One of the primary groups that we used were our CSRs. As you all know, they talk to the customer every day. They look at the bills every day. So we met with them in several small groups for their feedback. And throughout the project, we kept them updated. So we let them know how it was progressing, and we really took their ideas to heart and implemented them. One simple one that they suggested is we used to have on our bills, it says water and wastewater. And so the customers were thinking, well, we were billing them twice for water. Well, wastewater is sewer. So per their suggestion, we changed our billing to water and then sewer billing. And it really has worked. Our customers seem to understand it better. Also, the CSRs that asked us if there's any way we could simplify the alignment of the charges of the bill. So if we could make that better and easier for the customers. Another focus group we have is we have a community advisory group, which is made up of citizens of our community, and it's facilitated by our communications department. It's a diverse group of our customers, and they meet monthly to share ideas and feedback for the various projects that we have. So we kept them updated and listened to their feedback, sought their feedback, and used that as well. Also, we used our key accounts, our larger customers, our marketing and key accounts folks went out to the community and talked to our larger customers to see what they wanted on the bill, because their bills are more complex than residential bills. So it was very important to seek their feedback as well. So that was from the focus groups, but we also, Docsum Utilitech gave us some sample bills from other areas. They gave us, some good examples and led us really in a great direction here for this. So now we'll go into the solution of where we were and where we were going. So what you see here is our old bill. Now this was a pretty good bill. I mean, we were proud of it, but it's kind of like when you see that new car, this was not a very nice looking bill once you saw the new one. So this bill, it was just kind of plain. One of the main issues with this bill is the gray area to the right was the back of the bill, and it was static information. It had all of the information about the various issues at PwC, the various items they needed to know, where they could pay their bill, our office hours, so on and so forth. And so that took up space. So every first page of the bill had the front that you see here and that static page on the back. So almost every bill we had, or a lot of our bills, were 2-page bills due to that static page. And then another part of the old bill that we wanted to improve on is, you see that message in the top right. That was the only message we could put on the bill. The message we had for one bill was on every bill. So we wanted to be able to give our customers more pertinent information that applied to them. So let's look at the next one. So this is our new bill, and we're very proud of this bill. One, as you can see, it's a lot cleaner, and it's color coordinated. It's per the services, and it's just neat and clean. You got all the summary on the front of the bill, and you have the detail on the back of the bill. And I'll go into this in more detail later, but and then you have unique messages. You see the message center on the left and the did you know area on the right in the front middle of the bill. Those two areas there can be unique to each customer, which is really a plus, and this is what Utilitech could bring for us. Let's go to, so this is just kind of the visual separation that shows you, like, the electric charges are in yellow, water is blue, and sewer is green. And you can see that each one is itemized, is what the actual cost. But the best part of the bill to me is in the last column there, when it says my usage snapshot. Those of you in customer service know when a customer calls in, they will know, why is my bill high? What was it last month? What was it last year? Well, this snapshot gives you that. Like this month, this customer used 2,361 kilowatt hours. Last month, 2,453. Last year, 2,959. Same thing with the water. So it really, if the customer wants to answer their question or just look at their bill in detail, it's right there. And I really believe this has saved us several phone calls. We implemented several new things here at Fayetteville PwC, so I can't attribute it directly to the bill, but I'm convinced that this usage snapshot was one of the primary items that helped us reduce call volume here at Fayetteville PwC. So that's a home run there. Also, one other thing on that, when we here, we're a multiple service utility. Many utilities just have one service, like electric. Somebody might go out and say, well, my PwC bill was $353. And they might say, well, mine was just $265. But see, here the customer can see why theirs is $353, because they see each charge specifically broken out. So this really helped us a lot because there are 4 power companies in our county, and we're the only one that's multiple service utility here. So we have the electricity, water, sewer, and the other 3 are just electricity. So that was a big help there too. The next page is this is showing how we improved. Utilitech helped us improve the graphs. See the old usage graph? You know, it's just a bar chart, and then on the new ones, you have the usage summary there with the calculations. You got the usage and the dollars, and then the graphs. You actually have the month and the year, and then at the top of each graph bar, you have the actual usage. And then in that same square there graph, you've got the current reading, previous reading, and net usage. So there's just an enormous amount of information on this bill that we really didn't have. Well, we had it on the old bill, but not this easily aligned on the bill. So this was a huge improvement as well for our customers. Then the next one. On the remittance, on the back of the bill, the back of the remittance stub portion, that's where we put the ways you can pay your bill. And this is where on the old bill, we had the entire back page with static information, where we reduced all of that to the stub portion of the bill. And it really works nicely. You know, they can tear off that and then they see what they got to do with it on the back. And then we've got the guidelines or below that, like the bill's due and payable now, talks about the late fees and the interest charges and so forth. And then it gives them our phone number, you know, that type of thing. So this was a huge improvement here, putting the static information on the remit portion of the statement. Great idea, great solution there for PwC. The next part is what I think Aaron was talking about is the targeted messaging. With the new bill, we can put a unique message for each bill. We can have a unique did you know segment for each bill. So Utilitech challenged us to identify all of the differences that we needed, all the different scenarios that we had. So we developed a library of over 30 unique messages, you know, and so Utilitech used the data out of CCNB and took that data to know when to apply what message to what bill. So that was huge. So I'm catching up with you here. So this is the old bill. Remember, it's on the left here. The before, we had one message. That was the only message that could be on every bill for that cycle. For that cycle. Really, for that month is what we did for that month. The next is the new one, the new bill, and you have a unique message center. You have, and then a unique did you know. The message center, we developed a default message that if there was not a scenario that needed to be applied or that you could identify to apply for that bill, we just developed a default message was, you know, go to our online portal to find out more about, you know, your bill in PwC. So that was the default message. And then, let's see. So the message center there was always on the left front specific. And then the did you know on the right there, that was more or less what our marketing department would use to notify our customers of different things, like when a rate increase might take place, or time of use rates when we go from summer hours to winter hours. It might promote various programs. So that was the good part about that. So this is also some more message types. That top message there is our default message that I was telling you about. referring them to our online account manager. And that has increased too. Our subscriptions over or to our web portal has increased. Many of you have budget customers that tells you about the budgeting. And of course you have delinquent customers. We put that message in red and it's specific to them. See, this message had the exact amount that they needed to pay to avoid disconnection. And then you see there on the right, the various types of messaging. You get the past due balances, marketing, budgeting, special rate information. Each message also can be broken out by residential, non-residential. You can have a water message only. We have water only customers. We do an annual water quality report. We wouldn't send that to an electric only customer. So we could be smart about where we sent messaging to our customers. Okay. And these are the did you know messages examples. Again, marketing programs, customers, conservation tips, and it's like I said earlier, reminders. These are more general, but they're general based on that customer type. The message center could be more account specific. So that's where this is such a value to us, and it really is an enhancement for our customers. The next are the inline inserts. In the past, the old way, our communications department would need to go to a local print shop, print the inserts, box them up, mail them to the vendor, to the mail bill print vendor, and have them insert them and mail them to the customers. This feature with Utilitech, Docsum Utilitech, is all, they do it all. We send them the slicks and then they process them. And these inserts are attached to the bill. Well, they're inserted with the bill and they're archived with the bill. So if we go back and want to look at a bill from last month or a few months ago, the inserts are there with it. The same option is there with ebill. When we send the ebill out, the inline inserts are there with the ebill. So this is definitely an enhancement. Our communications department, they love this feature, and it's really crisp and clean for our customers too. So the next part is basically the targeted messaging results, and it was as I was telling you, we have proactive communications that we can give to our customers based on the data from CC&B, and then Utilitech helped us with that logic, and we developed a library to do that. But these unique messages enhance our communications with our customers immensely. And as you can already tell, Docsum Utilitech relationship is much more than a bill redesign for us. Docsum Utilitech is our new business partner here. The next slide are their tools, and we use all of these tools. They'll give you a chance if you select them to pick as many of these as you want, and we pick them all. And you can, U-Track lets you know the status of the job, where it is. U-Review is, we created some edits that would help us catch a bad bill before it would go out. It catches about 28, I think the stat here is 28 bills a day that would stop it from being produced, just so our billing folks can review it. And it still may be good, but it just said, hey, this bill needs to be reviewing. We look at it. If it doesn't need to be fixed, we send it out. If it needs to be fixed, we make the corrections and let it go. The next one is U-View, is the one our CSRs use the most. It's actually a PDF of the bill, and it's easy access. It's just a click and you got it. And it's really easy to get that. And and give this customer the information again, and they can look at and see exactly what the customer is seeing when they talk to them. Umail is a tool that we're getting to learn to use a little bit better. They have, Utilitech will teach you how, or some features where you can suppress some mail that you know that's going to be returned for various reasons due to vacant properties and this type thing. So far they've helped us suppress almost 4,500 pieces of mail. So our Umail has helped us save money when you're talking about the postage and this type of thing. And the new change is what our communications group uses, where they insert all of those changes into the bill, and so the messaging to the bill, so Utilitech will know, how and what to print. So they really like that, and it's a quick and easy tool for our communications folks to use. After we went live, we're always changing here, as I'm sure your utilities are too. We added community solar billing. We have a solar farm here, and we allowed the customers to sign up for solar panels, and it was a very unique way to unique rate structure and way to put it on the bill. Utilitech helped us with that. We implemented e-billing after several months later. Just recently, we implemented utility assessment billing. Before, that's where we annex customers into the city for and to get sewer services and water services, they might have to pay an assessment fee, and this is where that's billed to them. And before, that was a manual process, and Utilitech helped us make that automated. And we're in the process of upgrading CC&B to C2M. And so Utilitech's already working with us on that. And this is our ebill. This is our old ebill. Before, it was just kind of plain and impersonal. You couldn't, if you got the ebill, mainly all you had was a notice you have an ebill. You had to sign on into our system to see the bill, and it just was very, very basic. But the Utilitech ebill, the next one, it's a personalized ebill. You see the name, Hi Jane Smith's on there instead of Dear Customer. They can view the amount of the bill and the date the bill's due just from that. And if they wanted to view the bill, they just click on it right there on the right, and you can see the PDF of the bill. Very easy to do. They can also click and pay in that area too. One good thing about this e-bill is it's generated as soon as the bill's generated. Our old e-bill before this, it might not go out for 2 or 3 days after the bills were rendered. It was just very awkward. So our e-bill customers obviously get their bills, well, they get them immediately now, whereas our mailed bills will get them, as you know how the postal system is, that they get them several days later. So e-bill is the way to go. We're going to try to promote that here. And they have tools to view the status of the e-bill delivery. And as I mentioned earlier, the inline inserts are included on the e-bills. So the e-bill customer gets everything that a mailed customer will get. Okay. And the next one is just a picture of the utility assessments bill. See how they made it a pretty bill that's very similar to our utility services bills. So it's that's just an example there, and it now makes this is more professional, and it's clean, and it's just a better product to send to our customers. Okay, and just in summary here, the project was completed in 6 months. Really, it's completed in 5 months, because we didn't start really until December. We signed the contract in November. We were able to do the time of use project on time. We have easy statement access, message management, reporting tools for the CSRs. As I mentioned earlier, I'm convinced that this new bill helped reduce customer contacts here. And as you know, you always want to do that. Our new design is so much easier. I mean, I have had folks in the community come to me and just tell me they like their new PwC bill, which how many people would go to you and tell you they like a bill? And so it was very, very rewarding to hear that. And then we had one customer say, "Oh, I love how my new bill looks, but I still don't like paying it." But you know, we've had multiple compliments on our bill and still haven't. I mean, it's been over a year. So, okay. Well, what I was going to end up with though was just to let you know that we do look at Utilitech, Docsum Utilitech as a business partner. This project, they listened to us. They offered best practices solutions. And many of us, we work with a lot of vendors here from all of different areas, and a consensus, Utilitech is the very best vendor we have ever worked with. We really brag on them, and am very pleased that they're our business partner. Thank you.
Thank you, Bevan. All right, so we have some time to answer any questions you may have. If you haven't already, you can go ahead and submit them now via the Q&A button that's at the bottom of your screen, and I'll give folks just a minute. Okay, we have our first question here. What do your commercial bills look like?
The commercial bills, well, they're the same format. They just have the demand charges on there. And if there's a critical, we have some that have like critical peak charges that would have the critical peak time and the associated charges with it. It just has more data, but the same format. Because many of our industrials or large commercials will still have water and sewer charges.
Okay, what about multiple page bills?
I'm sorry, multiple what?
Multiple page bills.
Yeah, we have some. We have some combined bills where we have like a church may have, you know, 4 electric meters and 3 water meters and all the, you know, all those services. And so it would just be front and back. We print front and back until it's complete. The first page, you know, would have the remit area. And then, you know, with the static stuff on the back of the remit stuff, but the other pages are just printed front and back until all services are recorded with the associated graphs.
Okay.
So Lisa, if you even want to scroll backwards to the slide so we can
oh, sure.
visual if everybody's interested.
There you go.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. And so each bill would look like that. Well, that would be like page, the back of page 1 there with the static information. Then the other pages would just be front and back, like the top part of the back of this bill until all services are in there.
Right. And if there's multiple premises, we separate out the charges based off of premise, and then you go through all the services.
Right. Yeah. Each premise is, yeah, you would have electric, water, sewer premise, and then you have the next premise, electric, water, sewer. And, you know, sometimes you might just have a premise, just one service. Yeah, so it is identified per premise.
Okay, next question is, what type of cost differential did you realize, if any, in your invoice production cost with the additional colors?
I don't know that I really can't answer that question specifically. But I'll tell you straight up, we didn't, price was not a big factor for us here because we got such a better product and we went with a bill redesign, and we asked, you know, we did this for our customers. I think most new bills now, and Aaron would know better than I would be multiple colors. And I know years ago, I think it was a big luxury, but I feel like it's pretty standard now.
Yeah, that's a very good question and good point. So Docsum, in all of our print facilities, we use inkjet, so full color inkjet roll to cut sheet or roll to roll printers. So all of the documents that we produce are in full color, and we've done it in a way, we set up our operation in a way that it doesn't cost you a fortune to do nice looking bills for your customers.
Great answers. The next question, do you have an estimate on the savings realized by redesigning your bill? Savings in call center time, etc., quantified savings per call, things like that.
No, I don't, other than our call, we put in a new customer portal, and about the same time as our new bill redesign, and the portal mirrors the bill. And so it was, I know our call volume was reduced, which saves money, but I don't have a cost on it. And I can't attribute it all to the bill. I feel certain it had an impact on it.
Wonderful. Have you researched or have any data on with terminology customers respond to or better engage with? For example, ebill or go paperless.
Well, our ebill is much better than what we had, and that's why I get the ebill, and it's just so easy. In fact, due to all of the problems that U.S. Mail's having now across the country, we're going to get with our marketing department here and try to promote ebill, to get more customers to go that route.
Mm-hmm. If I can add into that just a little bit from a trending perspective, I think that the simpler you go with your terminology on your bill, the broader your reach is going to be to your customer base. E-bill may be a bit confusing, and I think go paperless is just kind of a standard these days. People understand, save the paper, go paperless, go green, those types of things where it's very common. I just think that the e-bill, I think, is an industry term where we all use it, and potentially your customers may not connect as much per se. So that's what I've seen, but I'm sure there's plenty of opinions out there.
Thanks, Erin. Mm-hmm. How many months did it take to go live with the actual rollout of the new bills?
From start to finish, it was 5 months. We started working on the product in December and went live in April. And our team met every deadline on time. Utilitech met every deadline on time. It was just in sync. It was a winner from start to finish.
And our next question, did this change in the appearance of your bill decrease customer questions and as a result calls to your CRPs? If so, by how much? I think we've had similar.
I think it decreased customer questions because it's just a better looking bill with more information. The information's aligned better. And I left out a lot of details, and I apologize, Aaron, but you know, you've got different scenarios on there. Like if it's a draft bill, it says do not pay. If you have a credit, it says credit balance, do not pay. It's got a lot, we have a lot of specific messaging on each bill based on what's happened, what's happening with the balance. So we have a thank you for your payment message right under there. So there are all kinds of touchy-feely, good things on this bill.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Bev, you know, we could keep people here for probably an entire day if we went through all the complexities and intricacies that your bill could go through. But knowing, you know, just as advice for the rest, for everybody else that's on the call today, if you're thinking about going through a bill redesign and you're just not sure how to get started, take advantage of those calls coming into your call center. Start recording them, writing down what types of categories they might fall into. Doing that will then help you align how you want to talk to your customers, because you know, Bevan said a lot of nice things about us today, and that's wonderful, but we can only do so much. A partner of yours can only do so much. You really need to know how you want to interact with your customers, and you need to know your customer base. And then if you give us that information, we can help you design a message library that has 150 rotating messages on it that hits every single scenario. But it really is a partnership together, and it is working with your customers and understanding your bill, your billing scenarios, and your customer base, and how we can bring those all together. And that's what Fayetteville did. As a great team, they really worked together, put their heads down, and really decided how they wanted to move forward. And that made all the difference.
Thank you, Aaron. Another question here, how did you manage to convince the organization that a redesign project was needed? There's a cost associated, and some might not want to make that investment.
We had the support from the CEO down to do this. I mean, because I think we were conservative in that we didn't try to do it in 2014 when we implemented CCMB, because it took us a year. It took us 2 years to get settled down after that. Because that was like learning a new language. We went from an old legacy system to Oracle CCMB, and it was huge. So it was time, and I think everybody knew that it was time. So we had total buy-in from our management team to do this project.
Thank you, Bevan. How many design iterations did you go through before finalizing the look of the new bill?
Well, I mean, Utilitech team, they were very creative. And so we would give them what we liked, and they would come back with several options to choose. And really, what we decided on was a hybrid. We picked the best from each option and put it on this bill. And so, I mean, all of this was done. I can't remember the timeline, but I think we had to decide on the bill format, I think by January. It was early, maybe no later than February. We had to lock in what it was going to look like.
Mm-hmm. You had it right. It was middle January.
Right. Decision. Which is a little intimidating, but that, and so we did this through the holidays. We didn't work through the holidays, but we had the holidays, but I just say, I mean, everything was so organized, and there was a project timeline, which you all have seen those, I'm sure. So we knew exactly what we had to do and when. And so, and then the most time was coordinating the focus groups, getting the feedback, you know, from the employees and from the customers. That probably took the most time in gathering information, and then sharing that information with Utilitech.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Another question. This one is for Docsum or for Aaron. On average, how often do utilities redesign their bills? 5 years, 10 years?
That's a great question. 5 years ago, I would say that people would redesign their bills every 15 to 20 years, because that's about what we were seeing. But I feel like everybody's doing it right now, because this shift, there's been such a major shift with the customers really in the last 5 years, about how customers want to interact with you, how they need to interpret the data on your bill, how you're displaying bills. And then you've grown too. The utility industry itself has grown. What you have available is more. You have AMI meters. I think in the last 5 years, it's really pushed to the utilities. If you have not redesigned your bill in the last 10 years, you really should probably look at your bill. You don't, and just know you don't have to make major changes. Sometimes it can be done with updating a graph, maybe modernizing the font a little bit and adding some messaging in. It doesn't have to be a full-blown redesign, huge project that requires focus groups. It really depends on what it is that you're trying to solve. And I would suggest that you go into any bill redesign and figure out what your main problem is that you're trying to solve, right? If you go into it as, we just haven't had a redesign, and Bevan did a nice job that, you know, talked about it, but their impetus really was that time of use, right? There was nowhere to put time of use information on their old bill. And they had customer complaints people were calling in saying, I don't understand, why is my bill so high? Right? So they had some issues they needed to address, some challenges with their customer base that then drove a full redesign. But we've had other customers in the past who said, you know what, I like the majority of our bill, but it just needs a little something. And we updated fonts, you know, added some additional messaging and modernized some graphs here and there, and it solved all their problems. So again, to kind of boil it all down, if a utility hasn't redesigned the bill, if you haven't touched anything about your bill in the last 5 years, I would strongly suggest that now's the time that you look at it. Hopefully that answered your question.
That's great info. Okay, so the next one is, how did you announce the bill design to your customers?
Our communications department did a bill mock-up. I can't remember the name of it, but they mocked it up with all of the descriptive areas, and Utilitech helped us with that too, but it was mailed out earlier, and so that the customers, when they got their bill, would know what it would look like and what the changes would be. And I think we let them know that a new bill's format's coming. Mm-hmm. So what is that called, Aaron? I know Carolyn did it.
Yep. How to read your bill, Inline.
Yeah. How to read it. Right. That's what it's called.
We make it really simple.
Yeah. But it had little bubbles in each area telling you what's what, and and it was well received.
Yeah, and so we there's abilities you have to announce that prior to, and then we like to include, if the utilities are open to it, that with the first bill. So the inline insert is the how to read your bill. It goes along with the bill. And if you've got, Fayetteville didn't really have a lot of very broad changes to their templates, but we have other clients utilities who their net meter bills, for example, might get completely different looking bills. You can talk to each one of your customers based off of that new how to read your bill insert based off the bill that they're getting. So again, it's that targeted messaging and really talking to your customers and showing them how to read the bill that they got. It doesn't have to go with every bill unless you really want it to, but we usually announce it the first month.
That's great. It's a great note too that the inline inserts can be variable as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all the questions that we had. So I guess we'll get things wrapped up for today, unless we have anything last minute. But thank you again to Bevan so much for your time with us. And thank you, Aaron. And of course, thanks to all of you for joining us today. If you'd like to learn more about our solutions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would be very, very happy to chat with any of you individually. Again, you'll get an email with a link to this recording. Feel free to share it, and we hope you all have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.